Now we're ready to go into the next to the last session, which is a really important one. We're kind of moving a little bit away from sort of the business orientation and trends and thoughts about the industry to what's COVESA got their hands on today. What are we working on? What are the projects? What are the activities? Who, if you have questions about a particular activity, who do you talk to, and so forth. And so I'm going to invite Paul Boyes, our community director, to come up, and he's going to lead this next session on project status update. So thank you, Paul, for taking over here, and I'll give you the mic. And the clicker is right here. Do you want this mic, or do you want a handheld?
They're going to want handhelds. So yeah.
Okay. Maybe just pick them up. Okay. Yep.
Okay. So I'm Paul Boyes. I'm the community director for COVESA. I wanted to say COVEVI, but we're just going to walk through some projects and their status. And before we do that, I'm going to kind of give you an overview of what they are. Let's see. So we have quite a few initiatives going on in COVESA. As you can see here, these are some of the major ones. The Common Vehicle Interface Initiative is really, it's about aligning with data standards, creating a data model, specifying the services, and then implementing on some tech stack. That's essentially what it is in a nutshell. And you can see a lot of the stuff that's highlighted in there is the projects that we're going to go through. We do a lot of active liaison work. So basically, as Steve was saying earlier, we talk, with the W3C quite often. There's, the open insurance, everything you see here. So there's a lot of liaising going on, and there's a lot more than there. The security team, they have their own sessions this week. It's a security team. The in-vehicle payment SIG, again, it's payments. It's about electric charging is also part of it. And then the Android Automotive SIG is about what are the pain points? What are we solving for for our members for Android? And lots of it's around data at this point. But we have a session that's going to be on what pain points are you feeling. So that's on tomorrow afternoon. So we're going to go through we're going to bring up first we're going to bring up Stephen Lawrence to talk about the tech stack.
Thank you, Paul. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of the CVI tech stack. Just wanted to start actually by giving you a little bit of a definition for the tech stack, because obviously tech stack is quite a loose term. It could cover a very wide range of software. So in the group, we're basically dealing with all the software that involves, as it says there, the transfer and use of the standard data model or the standard services description model, which basically means VSS or VSC. And that might be a specification. VISS would be one example of that, a protocol that needs to serve VSS data. So it's touching that data model. So we need to provide some specification on how to do that. But also implementation. So there are reference implementations of the VISS protocol. It can also be tooling, code generators. You have the VSS model, you have code generators that might produce stubs or translate it into other kind of models. Some of the recent work we've been doing is in data stores. So state storage, we've been starting to look at introduction of time series databases for storage of VSS data. Data servers themselves, advances on the VSS protocol. There's been some discussion about GraphQL to query and serve data. And also data feeders. If you think southbound in the car, obviously you're connecting to vehicle buses. So you've got classic AutoSAR service or some IP service. Basically, you're doing some kind of translation from that into VSS. So things we'll be doing this AMM. So like I said, the tech stack really covers all of the tooling that we might do. So it covers the VSS project and also the VSC project. So also the Android project. So, the Android project is looking at converting VSS into the Android VHAL. So all of those projects, people in the group will be participating, but there'll also be a specific working session after lunch on Thursday, and there we'll be talking about VSS data storage and data servers, including data feeders. And you can see the timings there.
Yep, so come, the big thing here is come and get involved, come check out what's going on in these groups, because this is where the work happens, I think we're with Daniel Wilms next for VSS. Any questions on okay. Yeah.
Take it to the right way. Oh, hi, my name is Daniel. I'm working for BMW and I'm leading the vehicle signal specification right now. So I just give a brief update of where we are standing. Since the last all members meeting, basically we covered like a new version 2.2 was there. It was mostly about infrastructure changes. So we we changed to GitHub Actions and some infrastructure stuff, the renaming to COVESA and all that. And of course, like during the whole timeline, we are we meet every Tuesday and we work on pull requests. So we always get like extensions to the catalog. So that was as well in version 2.2 the case. Then we had a bigger workshop on VSS layers. So that's a question like how to deploy at the end VSS on your solution. So like it's a long ongoing discussion, and you're still invited to join there. But we had like some cornerstones like how we want to proceed with that, and that will be as well in the discussion this week. The VSS ontology W3C project. It was basically the first public working draft we released, and the discussion started there as well. The first meeting was like 2 weeks ago. We are working towards version 3. We had some major changes there, so that's why we had like a bigger update, which is basically version 3, and we hope that we can there are just a couple of issues to resolve, and then we can release that as well. So what are the next steps? So basically, like the layer concept that we really start the implementation for the tool, so that we supported the tools improvements which comes along with it, because it's an older project, so it's grown, and there's something to do, extend and improve the ontology, and basically release version 3. You will find us tomorrow. There will be a session where we explain VSS in detail, where we say, okay, where VSS might be not enough, where ontologies come into place. We give some examples to that. And on Thursday, a working session. But of course, like we are here around, Eric, Sebastian, and me, and all the others involved in the group. Come to us, talk to us, and then we try to resolve your questions.
So Eric, Sebastian, Thomas, others want to raise their hands if you know who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So these are the guys. If you want to talk about VSS, talk to them. There's others too.
Yeah, and that's about it. So I'm really looking forward to the discussion. I think there's a lot to discuss, as we saw this morning on the picture, like where to use it, how to use it, and looking forward to it. Thanks.
So the next one is Tim Reichheimer. He's going to talk about the vehicle services catalog, which they just came from a meeting.
Yes. Yeah, thanks for having me here for presenting the VSC topic today. So I'm Tim, working for Ambition, have recently joined this group. So I'm very happy to be here and start the contribution to this great group. Today it's about like the vehicle service catalog that's a bit newer than the VSS. And I will walk slightly through our status and present our next steps. So we have like 3 big parts going on. It's like the specification part. We have already been writing down a lot of specification. You can find it in GitHub, like the link is noted down here as well, or just like ask us that if you can't remember the one here written down. So we agreed on like some specific details, like on streaming return values of a specific service, and we need to figure out a bit more details about that and document that in our specification as well. So you see there are still some works ongoing in the specification, but we are having kind of like a good state already on top of that. If we come to the tooling part, we have some basic tooling available. It's like a Ginger-based template. It's still work in progress, but you can already generate something out of that. And there are like parsers for Franca IDL that you can read into or read those files and generate something on top of that. We will continue working on the tooling, and we need some more mature tooling to really get the VSC up and working and really come from the specification phase and some example services to the point where we really have something up and working. One last thing about we have in mind is like a sample vehicle abstraction layer that aims for a strategy how we could maybe easily introduce VSC services in an already existing ECU project to enable us like a slightly migration from having an legacy or an EE architecture defined or OEM specific environment, and then slightly bringing those VSC services. This is what we want to work on. We want to build up a POC on top of that using VSC service and controlling like legacy or OEM tier 1 specific control units with that. Feel free to join our sessions. One session has already been taken place today. It was the session 1. We talked about VSC intro, explained a bit what it is, and started the discussion. Unfortunately, it was just announced right in time. So if you have any questions or want to engage with VSC, reach out to me or to my colleagues in this group. We are always happy to explain a bit more what VSC is, how you can engage, and we closed the session with the overall agreement that more input is even better, and so you are highly welcome to contribute. On tomorrow, we will look a bit more into like different topics, like how we can evolve our tooling, how maybe we can pick some initial services. So that's like the drag over from today. And on Thursday, we have a session together with the colleagues from the VSS, how we can engage with the VSS, how we can like combine those two specification into one thing that really helps to make it a good thing in the end. So yeah, feel free to approach us if you have any questions.
So one thing I didn't say is Tim is from Ambition, Stephen's from Renaissance, and Daniel's from BMW, just to give you an example where they're from. Okay, so we're going to go on to Android. Stefan Wasaki from Tieto Every.
Okay. So hello everybody, my name is Stefan Wysocki. I'm working for Tieto Every. In a brief, the group is responsible to evaluate the challenges that OEM has to integrate Android into the existing ecosystem to make everything easier, of course. One of the challenges that we identified is to access the vehicle signals from the Android. We know that Android already has some set of the signals predefined by Google, perhaps arbitrarily. But we have our standards of VSS that might be useful for this, especially that it's developed by multiple OEMs who has actively contributed into this. So as Stephen mentioned already, we have created some vehicle component that is responsible for translating the signals from the VSS into Android. For example, the signals might differ in, I don't know, units. So VSS might, for example, define the vehicle speed as kilometers per hour, but I don't know, vehicle properties from Android could be defined by meters per second. That is the challenge. So we try to propose some language or some configuration files that is the translation by describing the translation into one file, and everything else can be generated. So as you might remember or recognize from the last AAM meeting, we've developed some vehicle HAL implementation, which has hard-coded and arbitrarily chosen like four signals. That was, so the vehicle HAL component treats as an input VSS signals and then populates into Android by translating into the vehicle properties. Right now, we've made it automated, which means that we could have like a YAML file which defines the translation or create a map between the VSS properties and the Android vehicle properties. Right, so this is something that we try to merge into VSS tools. So this is done. It is already working, but it's still in the review. So we are waiting for some feedback from you guys. As the next steps, I have only the generic steps because I'm really looking forward for everybody to join our working sessions to maybe even create a new direction, because the topic is just about the Android Automotive at all, not only about vehicle HAL. So if you have other challenges like audio or graphics that can be resolved by Genevieve by contributing or cooperating with different OEMs or tier ones or everybody. And the last steps is to migrate the existing implementation of the vehicle HAL, this translator, from the default vehicle HAL to the one that is existing in the cuttlefish/trout, which means that it should work in the virtualized environment, which is perhaps the way to go in the future. So, as I mentioned, the sessions will be tomorrow, from 2:15. And if not, then you're always welcome to join our weekly sessions at Tuesdays. That happens on 5 Central Europe time.
All right. Any questions for the group? Basically, that's all we have. I mean, there's other people who work on these. So, for example, they're throughout the room. I see them. So, come to the people who presented and get involved. That's what COVESA is about, really. So, questions?
Thank you. All right. Thank you, team. Thank you, Paul. And just to sort of supplement what Paul and each of the leads were talking about here is, I get asked frequently, how do you start a project in COVESA? And obviously based on what I said this morning about we're an open door, sky's the limit, bring your ideas, bring your projects. What I would encourage each of the member companies here to ask the question, the projects that your teams are getting paid to do today, do they really need to be done behind the firewall? Or can some of them come into a collaborative community like COVESA and generate additional ideas and leverage and adoption and that sort of thing? And so just a teaser for you to take home and have that conversation when you get back to your company and say, look, we're paying these engineers already to do this work. We're paying these developers to do this work. Can we supplement their work that we're already paying them to do by doing that in a collaborative community like COVESA? So I just want to throw that in there as a teaser to take home and think about, because we are, as we said, we're open for business. We're open for new projects. They start with member ideas. They germinate. Our job is to take your concepts, your ideas, and incubate them, bring other members around them, and after we get a certain critical mass and we have an understanding of what that project could accomplish in terms of a charter document, a simple one-pager that we can look at, this is what we wanted to do, this is when we think we can do it by, these are the organizations that are supportive of it. We run that by the board of directors and bang, you've got a new project. And so it's not a complicated process. It's not a multi-month process. If you gave me an idea today at 5 o'clock, you gave me an idea at 5 o'clock today, I can guarantee you that by the end of the month, well, maybe not the end of the month because that's like at the end of this week, but by the end of next month, we would be able to have advanced that idea into something that is a go, no-go decision for COVESA. So it's not complicated, and we want to make it quick, we want to make it efficient, and get it done and get the real work going. So just take that as an opportunity statement and think about, hey, what can we do in COVESA going forward?